The Hassan police came up with some quick work in the Bisaleh forest. They tracked down a missing man who was part of a trekking group. Take a look. Bisaleh forest in Sakleshpur is frequented by trekkers. A trekking club from Chennai called Survive Monsoon Mission organized a trekking event there. A group of 14 techies took part in the event on the 24th of this month. Midway, the group reduced by one. One of the techies, Srikant Balaji, went missing. The other members of the group searched for him, but in vain. They then informed the Hassan police and other concerned authorities. The police started their search operation. Today, they tracked down the missing techie. Balaji, who had gone missing for 3 days in the forest, was much relieved.
At least for another 5 to 10 days. I think somewhere there's a hope that I'll find and hug my parents and kiss them. And it was too difficult, And after a while, the one thing which was helpful was the British jeep trail, which the British has constructed. That was wherever the stream is going down, there was a parallel trail along with that. So I just go in the trail, the jeep trail which British has constructed. I'll go along with that, and when the trail ends, the stream, the mountain just connects to another mountain. So I just have to cross. But one place where I feared most was in one mountain there was like too steepy. So I can't just go over that. It's too difficult and it will spoil my energy and time. So I thought I'll cross the stream, cross the river in the sense. I'll cross the river and go to the other side of the mountain wherein the steepy is too low. It's not too steepy. So that time it was too scary. I was wearing the shoes. I was wearing the bag which is like around maybe 5 kgs. I just jumped on the pool, I swam. The current was extremely high and I was pulled inside. My chest was going inside and I just gave the full force and I had the practice.
During their search, the police found another group of 7 trekkers in the same forest. They, along with Balaji and his group of 13 trekkers, have been detained by the police. The police say that the techies entered the forest without prior permission. Dashrath Sawoor, News 9, Hassan. Bengaluru was once known as a pensioner's paradise, but has lately become very unsafe for senior citizens. Now, in such a situation, a family in Bengaluru is living its worst nightmare as their 68-year-old dad has gone missing. Here's the report.
This is 68-year-old Ponnayan. A former naval officer, Ponnayan has been living his retired life surrounded by his loving family. But since Sunday, this senior citizen's family has been desperately looking for him. Adding to the woes is the fact that Ponnayan suffers from memory problems and hence is almost incapable of finding his way back home or even asking for help.
So what happened was on Sunday in the afternoon, he had gone out with his caretaker and he was taken to a physiotherapist's place and he was asked to wait outside. So while he was waiting outside, he kind of took a walk and he kind of crossed over the airport road and he came to the Barbecue Nation side. And then from there he was reported next seen at Subway. And then from there we don't know where he went. But then there are certain instances of him having been seen in 18th Main in Indiranagar.
Ponnayan's 2 children, Param and Vivek, have mobilized well-wishers who have fanned out across the area of Indiranagar in a desperate attempt to find him. The aged man who was with his caretaker got away when the caretaker got busy with another patient in Indiranagar. But by the time the caretaker realized his folly, Ponnayan was nowhere in sight. But what has come as a sigh of relief is the fact that the senior citizen has been spotted by many passers-by in the area.
He was last spotted on the Kodehalli main road and he was positively identified. He's wearing a white waistie and a white shirt, a half-sleeve shirt. He's 5'5", he's pretty dark and he's about 60 kilos. And he's about 68 years old, and that's basically the visual. And he'll be very, very thin because he hasn't eaten in like maybe 2 days, and he doesn't have any money on him, so he should be very easily. If you see somebody who's destitute and who fits those description, it's very probably him.
Ponnayan's worried family is now requesting everyone in the city to keep an eye out for the aged man, as he might not have eaten food or drank water for over 2 days. Since Ponnayan has memory problems and struggles to speak, he is incapable of conversing with people to seek help. Though there have been a few sightings of the old man, it has been over 48 hours since he received help.
what we're doing right now is there are a lot of people who've come to our support. They're retired Army, Navy officers. There are some people who've come whom we don't know, but they've seen the Facebook updates and the media updates, and they have come for our help. So my request is to the citizens that if you see anybody who's unattended, old and frail, request them to take to the nearest police person such that they can be attended to. I think that's the most difficult part for us, but we need to hold our ground. So we need to look for him. I think that's the most important thing.
Ponnayan was a commodore in the Indian Navy and had even fought the 1972 war. He was also honoured by the President with the Vishishta Seva Medal for his services. Someone who has fought for the nation in the past now desperately needs the help of Bengalurians. Nishchita, News9, Bengaluru.
Afghan President Hamid Karzai's powerful cousin Hashmat Karzai was the victim of a suicide bomb attack. The attack took place in his own home. Take a look. A suicide bomber disguised as a guest came to Hashmat Karzai's house to greet him. After he hugged Hashmat, he blew up his explosives and killed him. This was what happened to Hashmat Karzai. The man who proudly posed with his pet lion met his end on the day of Eid. Many visitors arrived to greet Karzai on the day of the festival. One of them was a man who had explosives hidden inside his turban, and he decided to set them off to kill Karzai. The attack comes even as the presidential elections held in mid-June are under dispute. Karzai was a campaign manager for Ashraf Ghani, who was declared winner after preliminary counting. Abdullah, who contested against Ghani, did not accept defeat and leveled allegations of fraud against Ghani. Karzai's death comes amidst the already prevailing political instability in the country. Whether the death of Karzai, who was a key member of the political fraternity, will trigger repercussions remains to be seen. A News9 report. India's biggest e-tailer Flipkart is gearing up to become the undisputed king in the e-commerce marketplace. The latest achievement is a big step towards this.
Flipkart receives $1 billion funding. Largest funding to an e-tailer in India. The company that started with an investment of just 4 lakh rupees has today become the biggest player in the e-commerce marketplace in India and the world over. With the company successfully raising $1 billion in the latest round of investment, the company is now valued at over $6 billion. The latest round of investment was led by existing partners Tiger Global Management and media giant Naspers. Also taking part in the fundraising were Singapore's GIC and existing partners Axel Partners, DST Global, Iconic Capital, Morgan Stanley Investment Management and Belgium-based investment holding firm Sofina. The funding comes as a welcome respite for a company that has been facing aggressive competition from new entrants like Amazon and existing players like Jabong, Snapdeal and others. Co-founder Sachin Bansal expressed happiness over the funding and said that the fund would be used to make online shopping simpler and more accessible. With the latest funding, Flipkart now has control close to 50% of the e-commerce marketplace in India. A News9 report.
A festive spirit prevailed across the country as Eid was celebrated with fervour. It was not all celebration and peace though, as some parts of the country were marred by protests. Bengaluru celebrates Eid. Bengalurians celebrated Eid ul-Fitr with great zeal today. Early morning prayers were offered in open grounds and mosques. The Eidgah Maidan in Chamrajpet saw a huge gathering of the faithful. Later, people of all age groups were seen wishing each other on the occasion. Bamboo Bazaar was crowded as residents came out onto the streets to celebrate the festival. Families indulged in shopping at the busy Shivaji Nagar area. The market area had more than its regular share of visitors on the occasion of Eid. Celebrations on the border. The festival triggered celebrations on the country's border too. The Indian and Pakistani armies opened doors to each other on the Wagah border. Pakistan soldiers presented sweets and gifts to their Indian counterparts as a peaceful gesture on the festive occasion. Hyderabad gets festive. The most prominent location of the city, the Charminar, witnessed huge crowds. Many gathered for prayers at the Makkah Masjid and thereafter greeted each other. Eid celebrations with BJP leaders. BJP leaders who are busy with the affairs of the country were seen in a jovial mood today. They sent out their wishes to the entire country.
TV9 के दर्शकों को ईद की बहुत बहुत शुभकामना। ईद देश के लिए शांति, समृद्धि और सौहार्द का मौका लेके आए और देश में जो हर व्यक्ति है वो खुशहाली के रास्ते पे आगे बढ़े, यही ईद की।
A very very happy Eid to all Indians, and let's keep the tradition of brotherhood very very clear, and brotherhood, sisterhood amongst the Indian community. A very very happy Eid to all of you.
Curfew lifted in Saharanpur. Saharanpur witnessed intense conflict in the past week. Today the scenes were different in the conflict-ridden town. The festive occasion saw the faithful involved in prayers, followed by celebrations. There was high security in the area, but people were happy about the fact that the curfew was lifted. Protests in Srinagar. In Srinagar, the scenario was not so peaceful. Protests raged against the situation in Gaza. Police and protesters clashed on the streets. A News9 report.